Something just happened that almost never happens. The system behind college football became visible. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. For years, most fans have been reacting to headlines, coaching moves, NIL drama, buyouts, conference shifts, public statements, denials. And if you only watch the public version of college football, it all feels chaotic. It feels emotional. It feels reactive. It feels messy. But that is not what is actually happening. The biggest decisions in college football are usually made long before you hear about them. That is not a theory. That is not gossip. That is not cynicism. That is the system. If you follow college football closely, the modern version of the sport can feel like everything is breaking at once. NIL changed the economics. The portal changed the timeline. Conference realignment changed the balance of power. Coaching contracts changed the leverage. And now the politics around the sport are getting louder too. So to the public, it feels like a constant stream of breaking news. But the real story is not the headlines. The real story is how early the important decisions are actually made. By the time a coach denies interest, somebody already knows more than they are saying. By the time a school says it is doing a national search, the short list is usually already shorter than people think. By the time a plane is tracked, the real conversation may have started days earlier. That is the part most people do not see. The machine is not random. It only looks random from the outside. Inside the room, it is incentives, leverage, timing, relationships, silence, pressure, and sequencing. That is what actually moves things. Not the press conference, not the public statement, not the fan reaction. The real work happens before the reveal. That is why so many people feel like something does not add up. Because they are being shown the public version after the private version has already been underway. And once you understand that, the sport actually starts making more sense. Not cleaner, not better, not more noble, just more understandable. And that is why I wrote Agent Confidential. I did not write it to chase headlines. I did not write it to collect rumors. I did not write it to take cheap shots from the outside. I wrote it because there is a system behind the sport. And once you understand the system, you stopped being surprised by outcomes that look sudden to everybody else. This book is about how power actually moves. It is about leverage. It is about contracts. It is about timing. It is about money. It is about silence. It is about the gap between what people are told and what is really happening. And right now, of all times, people are finally starting to see that this world is not nearly as random as it looks. The Kindle version is out, and the paperback version is hitting now. That matters to me, not just because it is a book, because it tells me something. It tells me there is an audience for a deeper explanation. It tells me there are people who have been watching the sport and thinking, something here does not add up. And they were right. This is not a rumor book. It is not a gossip book. It is not a scandal book. It is a framework. It gives people a way to understand what they are really watching. why coaching changes happen the way they do, why buyouts are not always punishment, why silence is often a signal, why speed matters, why leverage matters, why the most important movement in college football often happens before the public ever hears a word. Once you understand the system, you stop reacting to every headline like it came out of nowhere. You start recognizing the patterns. The reason the sport feels different right now is because the machinery is more visible than it used to be. Not because it is new, because it is harder to hide. That is an important difference. NIL did not create incentives. It exposed incentives. The portal did not create movement. It accelerated movement. The money did not suddenly appear. It just got more liquid, more public, and harder to disguise. That is why this era feels so loud. The hidden system is under brighter light. If you have ever followed college football and thought, there is more going on here than they are saying, you are right. There is. And that is what Agent Confidential is really about. Not just football. Power, timing, leverage, decisions, and the machinery behind the curtain. Because the biggest decisions were already made. You just heard about them later. And once you see that, you cannot unsee it.